Now, going over to the cultural part of the podcast, you have Matt Walsh going viral, noting the IQ of Somalians on social media. He's also reacting to almost looks like a brochure or a little TikTok of why you should visit Somalia, which, spoiler, there's not many reasons, though I'm sure they'll try to make some up. I don't know anyone who looks at their destination passport and goes, I really want this stamp from Somalia. I can visit their great museums and awesome factories where they make awesome products. Yeah. But this is a credit to TikTok. Let me crank up the volume here. Another reason to watch on, listen to on the Spotify or the Apple Podcast or Rumble because they won't take the music out. In this case, I mean, this music is, terrible. So they're saying they're representing while they're, like many countries not here, they really like soccer. There's a soccer player. So it's not Pele, or what's the other guy? Or Ronaldo. There's like two players you need to know in soccer, then you know them all. It's like there's two players worth knowing. So there's a soccer player, a gal in the scarf, a job. Mogadishu. It's a place, they have buildings. They have UFC fighters. The joke, and I never placed money in terms of like betting on the UFC. I've won a lot of gentlemen's bets though, like when hanging out with friends. Good rule of thumb for the UFC, the more you cannot pronounce someone's name, the higher propensity there is that they will win that match. 90% of the time, I win those handshake bets because I root for the guy where I can't pronounce their last name. Now, granted, you might argue with my speaking ineptitudes, I can't pronounce most names. Fair point, but you know what I mean. So I got a UFC fighter. There you go. Says chase success. Says never chase a runner. A bitch. That's a pretty pejorative term. I suppose rap has gotten to their country. They have some gals wearing the scarf, doing some dancing. More soccer players. They have they have a president, which I'm sure no one knows or cares about. Mask off. So they have a soccer stadium, which is a theme everywhere in the world. Yeah. Now Matt Walsh responded to this. Now this was posted, and he's responding to A Boom 16, who says, "quote Whites are jealous because they don't compete with Somali excellence," which was a real tweet. And actually looking at his tweet. Somalia, he got 3 point, again, the Somalian guy got 3.2 million views, and everyone is just laughing obnoxiously. They also note this person who posted it was based in Kenya. And Matt Walsh responded, and Matt Walsh says, quote, "The average IQ in Somalia is 68, which is below the line for mental retardation. 7 out of 10 Somalians live in poverty. Their per capita GDP is $1,000. USA is $90,000. Somalia does not have a functional waste management system. The tallest fully construction building in the country is 10 stories. So where is the Somali excellence really?" Unquote. Which, I mean, the video did say they have soccer players in UFC, which, again, that is a form of excellence, though it is interesting to debate, how do we define excellence? How do we define extraordinary in terms of countries' achievements throughout the ages? I would say, lifting people out of poverty would be an exceptional metric. Obviously, we thank capitalism for that. United States especially. Well, we used to be manufacturing where we were the OG. Think of Henry Ford, who didn't invent the automobile, but he's one of the most brilliant inventors in history and entrepreneurs in history, fighting like hell to get that price point of the vehicle down to the point where anyone could afford it. I mean, he was aggressive with that Model T. When I think of who changed the world, Henry Ford is definitely up there in terms of inventing the mass production automobile to the point where anyone could afford it. I believe he got the price point down to around $240. Now, again, that was back 100 years ago. But again, that's equivalent to, I think I did extrapolate the data out. I think it's around $20,000 if you do the inflation from then to now, which, again, the average new price for a new vehicle in the United States now is $50,000. Again, that is an average. Imagine if you get a reliable Ford. Well, that's a long time ago. A reliable Ford for $20,000. And it's almost unfathomable. That's amazing. But he fought so hard to get that price point down, it changed the world. When I think of, defending individuals' rights, liberties, and freedoms, well, Second Amendment is one of the most important things. It's one of the most unique things about the United States. God made man. Samuel Colt made man equal. It's a good old Colt. They used to be one of the largest companies on the planet, headquartered right here in America. He invented the repeating revolver. change the world. I mean, in terms of freedom of speech, most technological innovations when it comes to social media, granted they are being kneecapped by the government, but in terms of the essence of who invented it, I think that's another big contribution to humanity. Most medical innovations, in the United States. Most things for telecommunication technologies, United States. I mean, there's a lot of exceptional things we do. If you want to get into sports balls, gold medals, we collect a lot of them. It's one of those things where there's a lot of excellence in the United States. And Matt Walsh, and again, I believe, the average IQ in America, or for Americans rather, is more toward 89 to 90-ish. And granted, it's been going down. I can't help but think we spent trillions of dollars with the Department of Education to get lower test scores every year, but perhaps another topic for another time. And then again, this is one of those viral things, culturally speaking, as well as politically speaking, I'd say in the past 3 or 4 months, especially as we've seen, corruption, as well as abuse of women and children in places like Minneapolis, where they very much have highly dense communities of Somalians, as Democrats have imported them en masse. And again, some of it is illegal immigration as well. Some of it is illegal. And Matt Walsh is really at the forefront calling this out. Now, he's also ignoring some other things that are going on, but can't help but think or wonder that's probably who he works for. But nevertheless, Matt is on the forefront calling this out. And a lot of people in the United States are very concerned. Now, again, Matt got 1.1 million views for this and 25,000 likes. One of his most viral tweets of the year. The first comments comes to us thanks to Amelia Henderson. It says, quote, Somalis are helping America thrive. And then there's this, she doesn't give the source of the statistic, but it says 42.8% of Somalis are on food stamps, getting 89 likes. Now, another issue that I think it'll probably in the comments, but the average cost to the U.S. taxpayer per Somali, again, this is an average, is $1.1 million per Somali. Again, some of them, a lot of people come here, they work like hell, they contribute to society, they are a net benefit. And there are some Somalis who they work like hell, they get a job, they pay taxes, state, federal level, they're a contributing member to society, like fiscally speaking. And that happens. But again, the average is a cost of $1.1 million. When we're $38 trillion in debt, thanks to the corruption and or ineptitudes of Democrats and Republicans. So unfortunately, she didn't give the actual citation for that. But yes, many of them are also on food stamps. Now, talk about the shoes on the other foot, but apples to oranges maybe. If you're a U.S. citizen who is on the most food stamps, is usually white folks who are citizens. Now, again, that does adjust when you go per capita, though. Amelia Henderson also says, you're right. There's a map from someone by the name of European Maps. It has a map that says average IQ in Africa, and they have, Somalia right there with the lowest, getting 57 likes. The conservative alternative says, quote, immigrants should add value to a country. Somalians do not. The debate is over. It says average IQ of Somalian is 68, which, again, our IQ mental retardation is 50 to 70, which also reminds me of the Family Guy when Peter Griffin was like at 69 or something like that. He was like right below the line. They called him P-tarded, but another topic for another time, perhaps. They got 34 likes. Now, again, that's not all of them, though. There are some that are exceptional, contributing members of society. Again, Matt Walsh is talking about concepts and averages. Mrs. B says, has a cartoon where you have a guy waving the Somalia flag, or maybe it's Minnesota flag, can't tell the difference these days since they were weak and conquered and redesigned their flag. Says, Somalia first, proud to be Somalia. And someone from ICE goes, okay, buddy, go back to Somalia. He goes, oh no, this is not fair. That's an Indian accent. I can't do some accents sometimes. It's been one of those days. Says, don't send me to Somalia. Oh no, my life is ruined, getting 903 likes, which, yeah. Let's see. Some of them noting, again, trying to keep this moderately family friendly. There's a couple noting how they mutilate young girls as part of the culture. They got 600 likes. Miss B says, we are the governor now. It's Tim Walz with the Somalian Pirates, getting 204 likes. Gur Graphics, Ben Garrison says, quote, tell me again why they benefit America? Oh, you mean they benefit Democrats as a reliable voting bloc, 135 likes, which, yeah. The American Culturalist says Forrest Gump's IQ was 75 for context, getting 192 likes, which, I'll be honest, I've never seen Forrest Gump. It's one of those cliche movies like the Titanic or the Notebook, where I've heard about it and I know enough parodies thanks to like Family Guy and stuff where I've never actually sat down to watch it. I don't know, should I? Maybe I'll do a live stream of that or something. A lot of them are bringing up the female genital mutilation, which again is disgusting that they do that there. Patriot Aaron says, if Somalia is so great, why do they all go here instead? You have some people by the U.S. border wall says, let us in so we can be victims of the systematic racism and white supremacy, getting 361 likes. This is a good one. The cackly highest as a cartoon of the Somalian pirate from the movie It says, look at me. I have your text dollars now. Getting 253 likes. Shane Shu says it's not a hijab. It's a diaper for people with shit for brains. Getting 28 likes. A couple other people bringing up graphs with the average IQ per continent per country. See, a lot of people have that cartoon of the guy saying, I'm proud to make Minnesota Somalia. And then he gets deported by ICE. David Mark says Somali Pirates instead of the Minnesota Vikings, which, I mean, Minnesota's changing rapidly. I'm sorry, Minnesota, I purposely mispronounced it as a slight to that we can conquer state. And it's not all the realm of possibility. They redesigned the state flag. Why not redesign their sports balls teams? It's not all the realm of possibility. Again, they've also stolen, almost $1 billion from the taxpayer under the ineptitudes and or corruption of Tim Walz in that state. So it'll be interesting to see if this affects, again, it's obviously becoming a it's a political and a cultural topic. It'll be interesting to see if this kind of stays at the forefront as we get closer to the midterms and if it affects elections. I mean, it's crazy to think a blood feud in Somalia affected U.S. elections. Again, the recent mayor, Mr. Frey of Minneapolis, won because Omar Fatih, who is a Somalian, legit, or he came here from Somalia to the U.S., the Somalians in Minneapolis, some of them did not vote for Omar Fatih because there's a blood feud with his tribe against another tribe in Somalia. It is really crazy to think blood feuds in Somalia are affecting U.S. elections. I think that's insane, but let me know your thoughts because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback. Let me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.